Following his brutal knockout loss at UFC 300 to Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje has stated that the next time he gets knocked out like that will be his last fight. He's now rematching former opponent Rafael Fiziev, who is a very dangerous striker with knockout power, which has me and the fans questioning if this is going to be the last time that we see Justin Gaethje make the walk to the octagon. This is the first time Justin Gaethje has faced an opponent in his UFC career that was not ranked in the top 10, and this could be his last fight as well. Stick around to hear my breakdown and prediction of the UFC 313 co-main event. Gaethje versus Fiziev 2 is the rematch. I'm Wyatt. This is Fight Society. All right, guys, so we got UFC 313 this weekend, Gaethje versus Fiziev 2 as the co-main event. This fight was supposed to be Justin Gaethje against Dan Hooker, but Dan Hooker pulled out on about 10 days or 2 weeks notice because he broke his hand in training. So a replacement was needed. I made a few videos about it. I thought it should have been Arman Sarukian or somebody like that. They ended up going with Rafael Fiziev, who's a former opponent of Justin Gaethje's and coming off of a near year-and-a-half layoff due to a knee injury. The first time they fought was a crazy close fight. I'm expecting it to be a similar fight because although both guys have grown, Gaethje's been out for over a year, or almost a year, since he got KO'd at UFC 300, and Fiziev's been out for about a year and a half since he blew out his knee in his fight against Gamrot. So this fight plays a big part in both of these guys' careers going forward because for Gaethje, it is almost title shot or retirement in some ways, and Fiziev could make a giant jump in the rankings if he wins this fight and make himself a top 5 guy. So huge implications at 155, although I would have rather see this be Dan Hooker against Justin Gaethje. We still have a sick fight. Now, Justin Gaethje's most recent fight was against Max Holloway, where he got pretty much shut out and then KO'd at the buzzer by Max Holloway at UFC 300, and one of the most brutal knockouts that we've seen in a really, really long time. And it's hard to bounce back from a knockout like that. Although he's been out for a while, he hasn't been KO'd a ton of times in his career. I believe he has 3 KO, TKO losses. So he doesn't have a ton of damage. His chin's still good. I don't think his chin's going to be like totally cracked after the Max Holloway KO, but we'll have to see. I mean, I'm a little bit nervous considering how dangerous of a striker Rafael Fiziev is, but you also have to consider that he's coming off of a year-and-a-half layoff, with essentially reconstructive knee surgery after tearing multiple ligaments. When they fought the first time, we saw a really polished version of Gaethje working his jab and low kick, not really taking too many chances. He won 29-28 on 2 cards, and then there was a draw on one card because one judge had rounds 1 and 2 to Fiziev with a 10-8 for Gaethje in the 3rd round for a draw, but Gaethje won a majority decision. Now, Gaethje could be putting himself in a position to retire because although I'm fairly confident in his ability to win this fight, especially against someone else who's coming off of a long layoff, he has said that he's going to bring back a polished version of World Series of Fighting, WSOF Gaethje, which was just a madman, just caution to the wind, taking 2 shots to land 1, just an absolute madman in there. And so he says he's going to bring some version of that guy back because Justin Gaethje, if we're being honest, he's been very, very polished. I'm not complaining about it, but it didn't work out too well for the Max Holloway fight, and he probably should have been a little bit more down and dirty, trying to make things not so easy for Max Holloway, because Max Holloway, in my opinion, kind of styled on him for 5 rounds. Given Gaethje's fighting style paired up with Fiziev, this fight is going to be fireworks. I was complaining about it a little bit at first because I thought there was bigger matchups, bigger names, more fun matchups that the UFC could have done, but it is what it is, and it is a sick fight. So we're a little bit spoiled at 155, or at least I am. And Fiziev's strength is his striking. I don't think anyone's going to really try to wrestle in this fight. I know Gaethje got his 1 UFC takedown in their first fight, but I don't think he's going to shoot in this fight. I think that he's going to try to bring the fight to Fiziev, who might be, I'm just saying, coming off of a big knee injury, he might be a little tentative to get explosive on that knee. So we'll see. But Gaethje was preparing for Dan Hooker, a taller guy, not as technical as Rafael Fiziev. Fiziev's very technical, very crisp in his striking. Dan Hooker will take a lot of damage to give damage. Gaethje's the same way. Part of why I was so excited for that fight. But hey, it didn't work out, whatever. And normally I would be a little bit concerned for Justin Gaethje given the short notice, but given that he's the one that was already in camp, he was preparing for 5 rounds instead of 3, and Fiziev is somebody he's beat before. and Fiziev's coming off of a very long injury layoff, I am going to have to go with Justin Gaethje. I think by decision again. I think he's going to get a 29-28 decision, maybe 30-27, but I'm going to go with Justin Gaethje by decision in this fight. Keep in mind, it's a 3-round fight, and he was ready for 5. So given that Gaethje is talking about bringing back a version of WSOF Gaethje, we could see some crazy output and potentially some crazy aggressiveness from Gaethje now that he's in a 3-round fight and he was ready for 5. So there's my thoughts. Obviously, this could be Gaethje's last fight, but if he wins, he could be getting a title shot against Islam next, depending on what they want to do with Oliveira and Sarukian and Ilia Topuria. I mean, 155 is just crazy right now. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you think wins between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev this weekend at UFC 313? Thanks for watching this video, guys. Please make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. All that good YouTube stuff really helps me out a lot. If you want access to bonus content, become a channel member through the link below this video or the join button on our channel homepage. If you're interested in some non-MMA content from me, go check out my podcast, What's Up Bro, with Wyatt and Bo, linked below this video. Go watch this suggested video, and I'll see you next time.